Let's double knit a 2-color reversible stockinette like I've got right here. Today we're going to work on this on GoodKnit Kisses. I'm going to show you how to twist this yarn efficiently so that it doesn't get all wrapped up in your working yarns that you're twisting, and also show you how to finish off the beginning and bind off here in today's video. Join me today.
Welcome to GoodKnit Kisses. We're all about helping you stitch your love and love your stitches.
To get written instructions, please see the link down in the video description below. You can also get an ad-free PDF on our website for a discount, or our Ravelry and Etsy stores. We do have a right and a left-handed video tutorial, and you're going to want to click on those, whichever one your dominant hand is. So if you're right hand dominant, I'm going to show you how to twist with that right hand. If you're left hand dominant, I'm going to show you how to twist with your left hand. And so you're going to want to pay attention to those. And you can do this with any yarn and any double knit loom. Now I'm going to show you how to do the double stockinette. However, if you use a thicker yarn than I do in this video, you may want to knit only 1/1. I'm going to knit 1/2, and it makes for a nice look. I'm going to show you a quick sample to show you what it looks like when you do 1/1 in this yarn. This is a medium 4 worsted weight yarn, and this is an 11/16 large gauge loom. So if you've got this loom here and you want to work with a number 5 or 6 weight yarn, you may only want to do 1/1. But this one looks really loose, and you can see this one looks a little nice and thicker and conforms well to these stitches. So I'm going to show you how to do that in here, but the main technique is I'm going to show you how to twist. So the next step is I'm going to show you how to twist on here while it's already on here as usual, like it's already on here. And then I'm going to show you in the video what it looks like to actually start this by casting on, and then I'll show you how to finish off your anchor yarn, and also how to bind off. So there's going to be multiple things in this particular video, but the first thing I'm going to show you is how to twist this, because that way we just dive right into it. All right, join me in a minute and grab your supplies and we'll begin. Let's work on twisting. I'm going to be holding with this hand here, and my main dominant hand, I'm going to be moving the yarn over and twisting all of our yarn, making our stitches. We're going to hold with this other hand and hold a stitch right after we twisted it to keep it on until we get to the end of the row, and then we're going to knit over to lock everything into place. Okay, and then when we turn the loom and start the new row, the opposite yarn will be on the other side. So every time you wrap the loom, you're going to make sure the same yarn is on top of the same yarn. You can see I have 2 loops on here right now, and I'm going to eventually get 3 on there, and I'm knitting 1/2. Okay, all right, so we're going to begin by we're holding it with this over here, grab our yarn, and we're guiding with our other 3 fingers back here, just holding them. You may pinch it in between, you may come up with a way you want to handle it. This is what I'm doing here. So we're going to pull back and give myself some slack, and I'm going to insert my fingers in between, and this is what I mean when I say split the yarn. So if you hear me say split the yarn, that's what I'm doing. You can use it to guide these around these stitches here, that kind of thing. Because this is not our first row, our very first row, we have to have this twisted on the end. Okay, our very first row when we cast on, it'll look a little bit different. So I'm going to show you how to twist this from the beginning. So pull these apart. We're going to take our index finger and we're going to go around and underneath this yarn A. So we're just going to go under yarn A and then push on the yarn B and then just flip it over, right? So now we've got it twisted fully, and then we can just put our thumb in here and then split the yarn. Okay, so we're just using this little opening here and splitting the yarn, and then we're going to place it around this first pair of pegs, and then you can just pinch it with the other hand. Okay, or just like kind of clamping it on there. And now we need to twist this again. And so I had gone in one direction, so now let's go the other way. So now we can take our index finger and go underneath B, and then over A and flip it, and then put my thumb in here now, take A out, or take my index finger out, and then kind of twist around like that. So now we're going to push at the same time. So it's kind of a movement all together. Okay, I'll do that again. We're just going to wrap it around, and now we've got our second pair of pegs. So let's do that again. So if you need to pick up and reset, you can do that. So go under A and pull on B and flip it and twist it around. Put your thumb in and open it up and lay it. and then do the opposite. So we're going to go under B and push down on A and flip and twist it. So you don't have to necessarily say, oh, I've got to do A, B, put my finger here, here. What you can just do is I just kind of know that I'm twisting this yarn. And I mean, I've written the steps out that way, how I'm telling you, so that you can kind of follow it verbally or in the written instructions. But really all I'm doing is I'll say, oh, I'm pushing A away from me. Okay, and I'm twisting it and then place it. And then I'll say, okay, now I'm making B come toward me, and I twist it and place it. Whatever helps you remember, but you're just going to be twisting one direction, and then the next set of stitches, you're going to twist the opposite direction. So I hope that makes sense. So you just kind of guide your hand around and twist it one way and place it, and twist it the opposite way and place it. Okay. And just keep alternating. You might forget, well, where did I leave off? You know, you don't have to sit there and go away and towards and away and towards. But if you get two going in the same way for a while and you forget about it, your yarn may get twisted up back here, and that's okay. You just may have to kind of untwist your yarn and fix it after you finish this row. So just continue twisting and placing like this until you come to the end. And then in order to hold on to it, I'll just kind of wrap it around my peg here, my end peg. I mean, I guess you could do it here. And so then all I need to do is I hold this with my other hand, grab my hook and knit over the bottom over the top on this side. And then I need to go the opposite because we've got two yarns we're worried about. And over here. So we're knitting 1 over 2. And so now this row is set up with 3 loops on each peg, and we're knitting over. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And then when you're ready for the next round, you're going to turn it over and do that again. So go ahead and pause your video. We'll come back and I'll show you how to cast this on. This is it. Once you know this part, you just keep going until you need to bind off, and I'll show you in this video as well. All right, I'll see you when you're ready to cast on. Don't mind the loom that I'm using. It's different from the one that I showed in the beginning, but it's the same gauge and everything. So we're going to begin with both strands held together, and we're going to tie a slip knot. So have a tail, make a slip knot, and we're going to place that on our anchor peg down on the end, if you've got one. If not, use an end peg or hold it loosely. Okay, we're going to grab both strands in hand, and with the index and the thumb, we're going to split the 2 yarns with contrast B around the index finger and contrast A around the thumb, while the rest of the fingers are going to be holding on to the yarn. So I have it between these two. Just do whatever, hold it however works for you. Okay, so we're going to be split like this. And if you're reading along, I'm going to say some of the step numbers. So this part is where I'm on step 2, showing you how you hold your yarn here, how we split it. Okay, so step 3, we're going to wrap yarn A around the outside of peg 1 on the lower board. So this one is going around the outside, and with yarn B, we're going around peg 1 on the upper board. Okay, and then the opposite hand, you're going to be touching it. I'm already doing it here naturally. I'm just putting my index finger on the upper board and my thumb of the opposite hand on the lower board to hold those stitches on there in place. Okay, so that's how we make our first set of stitches. All right, and now we're going to be twisting this to continue on. So that was step 4, moving my hand, and now we're just sliding our main hand down the working yarn to give it some slack, and we're going to place our index finger under yarn A, which is this one down here, and we're going to pull yarn B towards you and flip your hand over. Okay, so we're just twisting these 2 yarns together. That was step 5. Now step 6, your yarns are now twisted and they're ready for placing on the next pair of pegs. So you're going to put your thumb through this opening here created, and you're going to bring your index finger into the top and split those 2 yarns as you did in step 2. Okay, so you're going to wrap yarn A around the outside of this this lower part down here on peg 2, and then on the upper with B on peg 2. Okay, so you're just going to pinch and hold just like you did before. For this next step, we're going to twist in the opposite direction to keep our working yarn tidy. So you're going to slide your hand down and give it some slack and place your index finger under yarn B and onto A. So just with my fingertip here, I'm going to put it on A, and then we're going to push A away from you, and it twists this around like this. See, and your yarns are crossed. You're going to place your thumb through the opening created and bring the index finger to the back. So we've done this. We're going to take this index finger out. We're going to bring it to the back and then twist it around again. You just kind of move your thumb at the same time and just sort of sweep it, and then place the yarns. Okay, and then hold. And you're just going to continue and repeat it the same way. So it doesn't matter you know, which way you're putting that finger. If it helps you to look at the written instructions like I did, I say it exactly like that if it helps you remember which way to do it. But essentially, you're twisting it one direction, like say this way is twisting it away from you and flipping it around and placing it and holding it. And then the next one is going toward you. So I'm just going to twist my yarn towards me like that. However you can remember to do it, and all of these twisting the opposite direction doesn't affect the fabric. The main thing that affects the fabric is making sure that you keep, let me just hold this here, that you keep all these straight. So see how like these are tidy here, but this one is too far over. So you can just pull on your work or take that one out until you get it right, and just twist them, hold it in place, twist the opposite, and hold it in place, and keep going like this. And if you alternate back and forth your twisting and continue repeating those steps all the way across, then you won't get your yarn all twisted up at the working yarn. It won't continue to have a bunch of strands. Like this will be nice and loose, and it won't get all wound up. Okay, keep it tidy. So I'm going to continue to repeat that all the way down until I get to the end of where I want my stitches. For a scarf, I'm just going down to 12 pairs of pegs and then hold on to it here. Okay, so once I've got that, I want to put on my anchor yarn. This is a little harder because we have to hold on to it. So let me find my anchor yarn. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to lay our anchor yarn. You can go ahead and twist this around if you need to and hold it kind of like this. So I've got it around one extra stitch if you have that ability while I put my anchor yarn in. So just going to get this long piece of another color and put it through to the bottom. And I'm going to kind of get it through my little stitch marker here, through there, and to the back. Okay, so I'm just pulling down my tail. Okay, and then lay this across all the stitches. And then tuck it underneath one of these. Use your crochet hook if you need to, or just pull it through with your fingers if you can. Okay. And then you can leave it nice and loose, and when you get a chance later on, once we've really got it in here, you can tie these ends together. I'm just going to leave it here for now because it's a little harder to do while I'm holding on to this. So once I can lock my stitches in, you might be able to tidy this up. All right, so now we want to kind of lock and hold it on this last set, and I can let this part go. And I can keep it actually twisted because I already had it done. So if you haven't twisted it, you need to. But I actually need to go to the other side. So just you can kind of pull across the side and twist it around and turn your loom. See how easy that is now that I've grabbed it onto the other side. Okay, so we need to now pinch and hold with this opposite hand and get it into position. It's a bit harder flipping it this first time with the anchor yarn. Make sure and guide it around. So you see how I had lost it for a second. And we're going to pick up both of these strands. Okay, and now twist that yarn like that. You're just going to twist it, and then now you're going to lay it on the opposite side. So where I had A at the bottom or the lower board, now it's up at the top. So make sure these yarns are twisted, see, like that, and then lay them around that pair of pegs and then hold it. Okay, so you're going to twist it again and then lay it on the next pair and hold it. Twist it again the opposite direction, hold it, twist it again the opposite direction again, twist it towards you, lay it, twist it back, and you just keep going. I know this is probably going a little bit fast for you, but once you practice it a few times, you hopefully will get the hang of it. See, if I only twist it once, it puts the wrong color on the other side. So we want to make sure to come back with it like that. Okay, so just keep twisting until you get to the end. You're just repeating all those steps. It's actually on the written instructions, you're repeating steps 3 through 10 all the way down until you get 12 pairs of pegs or whatever number you're doing. Okay, now I'm at the end, and I'm going to go ahead and twist it. And if you can, do this first set before you move and then you turn it, you can do that too. So I'll twist it and put it on here. It seems to be easier for me, and then hold it. So we need to actually have, you got 2 pairs on each peg right here, right? But for this stitch, we need to have 3. So we need 3 loops on. So I'm just going to pull this, give it some tension, and turn it around. See how that was a little bit easier to turn around? It's more fiddly when you first cast on. That's why I wanted you to see the other one from the beginning. And then if you see, like, my strands have gotten a little off here, so like these are all basically in the middle, but this one's not, I can just tug on that and give it some slack and make sure it's even before I continue on. So now that these are already twisted, I can just grab them again where it's easier to start and go around and pinch it, push everything else down, and then here we go, twist and lay, twist and lay, or wrap, twist and wrap your pegs, twist and wrap your pegs, twist, wrap your pegs. And if I twist too many times in the same direction, like if I twist 2 or 3 this way, just go, oh yeah, I forgot, and then go backwards and a couple of times to kind of get your main working yarn untwisted. Okay, all right, now I have 3 loops on each peg, right? I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to twist it down at the very end to kind of hold on to it, and we're going to knit over. We're going to knit over 1, over 2 on that peg, and on the opposite, 1 over 2, and now we have locked it in, and we can go ahead and work this first row, and that actually gets that first cast on row started. And then the repeat on this is simply wrap it 1 time, just as you did before. And continue until you reach your desired length. Okay. So I'm at the opposite end of where my anchor peg is. Now that this is cast on, I could just go ahead and take this off and then let it fall to the inside, and grab your crochet hook and pull it in like that. Oops. And then now I'm ready to continue on. So I've got my yarn down here, make sure it gets twisted, push it down, and then go around, replacing it, wrapping it yarn around, twisting it. Oops, got a little lint there. Okay, twist it and wrap, twist it and wrap. So continue that row all the way until you have your desired length. So pause your video and I'm going to show you how to bind off. So you're going to bind off on here and also then finish your beginning. Okay, pause your video. I will see you there. Here's a different example that I'm going to show you on binding off because I'm not quite ready on my scarfing just yet on my samples. And I do want to show you this with a cotton yarn, and I've actually knit 1/3 in this case instead of 1/2 because I wanted it to be a bit more bulky because it is a cotton yarn. So this one of course is a different loom, but it's the same gauge as the other one. I've already cut my yarn and I'm ready to finish this binding this off. So what happens is you're done with all your stitches and you've measured your length. I basically on this one I measured my width and then I measured my length up here, knowing that a couple of these stitches will make it go down a little bit further. So I'm just going to knit 1/3 here, which in your case if you're doing 1/2 this is the same thing. Okay, and you can kind of do this all in one fell swoop. You can actually do this all at the same time. So, you know, if you knit a couple pairs here, 1/2, whoops, 1/2, you can go all the way down and then come back and do 1/1. I've already done these first 5 sets. So let's pretend like I went all the way down. Okay, and then now I'm just going to knit 1/1 on these stitches. Okay, so you're just lifting them over one stitch at a time. Okay, and once you do that, then you're ready for the full bind off. So go ahead and knit over all your stitches one at a time until you only have one stitch remaining. Okay, all right, pause your video and I will see you at that point and I'll show you the rest of the bind off. Okay, so you have knitted all of those stitches off and you're ready to completely bind off. I've got my tails at the end here and I'm going to go to the opposite side and just pick a color to start with. Okay, so I'm going to go up and under these stitches. I found that this is better to go, instead of going through the top, I've actually found to go underneath works best when I'm working with this kind of, I don't almost call it checkerboard, but when I'm working with the 2 color, I'm going to go opposite each color. So it's going to be a chain that goes across the end and it's going to alternate between these stitches here. So right here is what it's going to look like. It's going to alternate colors across the edge. And then that way it's not just showing one color on one side. It looks the same on both sides. Okay, so I'm picking up the white. And now I'm going to go up and under the purple here. And then we're going to lift the back loop over the front loop and just slipping that stitch. So now we're going to go underneath the white again, pick that up and pull through and go underneath the purple, pick that up and pull through. Again, white and purple. So you're going from the upper board to the lower board in sequence. You just continue doing that until you get to the very last stitch and then pull through both stitches. I'll see you at that point. Okay, I'm down to the end and I have 2 stitches left. We're just going to pick up this last one on the top or the upper. Keeps falling through. Pull that through and I'm going to tighten that up a little bit and go to, sorry, it's so far on the left of my screen here. Okay, underneath that one and pull through. Okay, and then now I can just wrap around both strands. I think I said pull through 2 stitches. I just meant the tails. So you're just going to pull through both of the tails and get it all the way through. Mine's a little too long. I can't talk. It's a little long. Okay, so that's this one. And you're done. So all you do is you weave in those stitches, and you can pull out your slack here. This is tight because of, you know, the loom stretches it out. So that's what it looks like. It's nice and alternated chain edging. And then now we're going to finish off the beginning here. So you can see now we've got our ladder stitches in between. That's just because of how I did this pot holder. It's going to look better with your other gauge of yarn. It doesn't go through as much. Let me show you this one. So this one here, it's, you know, it's a little bit better. Okay, I have to pull it to see the other opposite color on. Okay, so let's do the anchor yarn. Okay, so I'm going to go to the opposite side of my tail. Okay, same as before. I'll take this little knot out, get ready. Okay, I'm going to go to the very beginning and pick out my first stitch. Okay, so you can see it going through this white one here, and then there's a purple one next to it or right down below. I actually want to go through both, and because this is so short here, let me go ahead and pull on this. And we're going to go through that one first and grab the white and lift through, go through. And now we're going to go to the next color. So because I have gone through white first, let's go to purple next. And we're going to pull through. And then we're going to go to the white that was right next to it, that was twisted together, and pull through. And then now we're going to go to the next stitch. So if you're not sure, you can pull through here. Okay, and those are the stitches that you just completed, and you'll go on to the next pair. Okay, and I've got right where this comes through. If you need to pull on it, you can see how here's my purple, and then here's the white that's twisted to connect. So I'm going to go through my purple first. And then I'm going to go through my white. And then come down here where the next one is and pick up my purple and pick up my white. So you're just going through A and B, whatever your two colors are. Again, if you can't tell, you can pull out some of these stitches here, this anchor yarn, pull it out of what you just completed, and you can see where the very next one is. Pull up on it if you need to. I'm going to find just one strand of that purple. You don't have to go through both of them, just one. And then go through the white, just really right next to it. And it seems like it's a little tight, but once you're done, it looks really nice, and it finishes out just how it is over here. So it's the same thing when you get all the way down to the end. You'll be down here. Pause your video, I'll show you. You can see how this didn't go through, but you still need to finish it at this point. So pause your video, I'll see you down there. Okay, I'm down at the end. You can see I have this one little column left with that stitch to pull it in. And it never had the anchor yarn through it because it's just kind of awkward to do that in the beginning. This is where I had originally tied on to my anchor peg. So these two stitches are left. We're going to go through the purple one first, and then the remaining white one, pull through. And then now you're just going to grab both ends here, the tails, and pull all the way through. Okay? And then you can weave in your tails, and you can see what that end looks like and compare it to the other side. And so you've got this nice pulled through area. Now, this is a little bit tidier, but it still is fine, especially because most projects, if you're going to have them really long, they're not really seen. So it looks a little bit looser on the other side, but it looks fine otherwise. So if you want to know how to weave in your stitches on double knit, you can just go behind and grab, just go behind the stitches. So I've got this white one, and I'm going to grab just my white strand, pull that through, and go through a few more, pull through, and I can continue guiding it down and even coming up here. So I can even kind of come through here and guide it up the little column if I wish. Just kind of looping it on through and hiding that tail, and then go through on the opposite end and do this color over here. And now they're nice and separate, and it's not going to be so bulky. So it'll hide, and then you just clip that yarn after you've got in several strands. I usually kind of come up and then come back down so it's locked in well. I hope that has helped you learning this technique to make a bicolor or two-color reversible scarf or a panel, whatever you'd like to use it for. I know that it has been an interesting, fun thing for me, and you can actually go from here and learn new patterns. So we'll have new ones that come out and play on this with making different colors appear on the other side and twisting them in different ways. So be sure and stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're not, and get our newsletter. We'd love to hear from you, so please comment down below. Have a great day. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today, where we help you stitch your love and love your stitches. See you again soon.